Evergreen Media Network Studios. Brought to you by Evergreen Media, creating cohesive marketing campaigns. Evergreen Media in Vero Beach.
This is the Martha Matter Show. From real estate, healthcare, current events, taxes, or just about any topic you choose, call us with any questions or just about any subject. Now, here's Martha.
Well, hi there, and welcome. We have an interesting topic considering we're in the middle of all the holidays, the most important holidays for most people during the year, for that matter. And while it's a joyous occasion, and we all know it is, if relatives can't be with us, they call us, they think of us, we call them. It's always a time of catching up with what's going on with everyone who is near and dear to us. But there are many, many people out there, for whatever reason, whether they got a divorce this past year and there's all kinds of adjustments going on, whether there's been deaths in the family where people are suddenly widowed, or almost anything. In fact, even myself, of my own generation, I have loads of relatives and friends, but they're second and third relatives. My own home, with what I grew up in, they've all passed away except for me. And it's not a sad time, it's a joyous time, because I'm enjoying all the other relatives, the grandkids, the nieces, the nephews. But there are many people who don't even have that, and it's a very lonely, ugly time, and they know it should be joyous. But many of these people who are home alone, they don't mind being alone the rest of the year, but at holiday time, it is very, very sad. And they usually don't get through the holidays without some tears in their eyes once in a while. And what I'm saying is, even if you're in a wheelchair, even if you have any form of disability, or you're lucky to be healthy, there are many things you can do to make yourself happy over the holidays. And the biggest thing to do is to volunteer. Yes, it not only takes your mind off yourself, but you're actually cheering someone else up, doing a lot of good. I know, especially with kids, even more so than adults, kids love to play games with anyone, love to talk to anyone, love to hear stories read to them, and they're so open and happy and wanting to get to know you better. Mm-hmm. The one example of kids that I have mentioned in the past, and I'll mention again because I'm still friends with them, unfortunately, the parents were both divorced, not only from each other, but 2 times since. So the kids actually have 6 sets of grandparents, which is highly unusual. Mm-hmm. But you know what? There is room in their hearts to love every one of them. All 6 sets of parents, that's 12 grandparents, that's 12 people. They get a present from all of them, and they just love all of them and act as if they love them all equally. That's the way we should all be. I'm not asking for 3 sets of divorces, but in this case, for the children, it was a very lucky thing. The grandparents stayed involved, and the divorce did not interrupt the grandparents' relationships. And I think it's a beautiful thing. There's no reason why adults as well as kids can't feel the same way about everybody who likes them, even next door neighbors and non-relatives or friends. And that means so much. Well, when you're alone for whatever reason, I'm saying you should pick up and go to some different places and volunteer. I can tell you about what's available in Vero Beach, but this applies to every home, farm, community, city, suburb where you may live and be hearing this. There's always someone somewhere who's lonely, and you can help them out. And it doesn't have to be on Christmas Day, Hanukkah week. It can be any time during the entire season and the week in between, and even after New Year's. People say Happy New Year probably all the way up to mid-January. One place in Vero Beach is Camp Haven. Now, Camp Haven, it's on US 1. It used to be a regular motel, and it's a beautiful situation. It's when usually most men in the family have lost their job or been fired or the company closed, and they don't have anywhere else to go. They're divorced, they're responsible for kids, even their ex-wife, but they don't have a home anymore. Where Camp Haven, like I said, it used to be a motel. They are allowed to stay there so they have a roof over their heads, and they're either trained and sign up for training for another type of job, or actively are assisted in making out applications for a similar job throughout the 5-county area. I think it's a beautiful thing, but on Christmas Day, if they don't get phone calls or no one comes and visits them, they need volunteers to provide a Christmas dinner, to serve it. You don't have to spend money if you don't have it. Your time and your effort and your ability to serve and help them clean up, and most important, socialize with them and make them feel wanted. It's not only good for the people you serve, it actually cheers you up, and you go to bed at night feeling you have accomplished something and done a very good deed, which you have. Another place is the Source. I probably should give you the phone numbers. Camp Haven is 772-999-3146, and the Source is another one, but this isn't primarily for men who have lost their jobs. They're for anybody who has lost their home, and even if it's due to financial reasons, for men and women both who have, if they're either, like I said before, their business is closed, or if they were let go, or they were in the middle of a rather awkward political battle, which is along a lot of reasons for getting rid of people. People may be at the same job for 20 years. They're obviously capable, but if they're asked to leave, there's usually a personality problem between the boss and the worker, and I call that very political. It's not taking care of their skills, or not that their skills are inept, but they just can't stand looking at each other anymore. And believe it or not, there's a lot of that. So the Source helps them find another location, another job, and their phone number is 772-564-0202. There's another organization, it's called the Women's Refuge, and that's self-explanatory. If there's a lot of physical alterations and abuse between people living together, whether it's two men, two women, husband and wife. The Women's Refuge is a place to prevent any more physical abuse or harm. And their phone number is 772-770-4424. Now, these are all Vero Beach places to volunteer, since that's where we're broadcast from. But many of you, even in other locations, the Red Cross is universal, Salvation Army is universal, and I'm sure you have food banks and for homeless people, and you also, in severe cold weather like you have up north for months at a time, I'm sure there are homeless shelters that you could volunteer at. And remember, you don't have to bring dollars and cents with you, especially if you don't have it, of course. But you're caring, you're talking, you're listening, your interaction with people goes a long way and makes them much happier during the holidays.
You know what, Martha, I want to tell you, too, about an article that I read a little while ago, and it was talking about, so it's the other side of the coin, people that move into a new neighborhood or a new town, and how do you make friends in that town? And that's one of the things that they brought up, is for them to volunteer. So it works on both sides of the coin, too.
Right.
It does.
Right. You don't need to be home crying alone. You could move to a new area and don't know where to go. And volunteer, and different people will tell you different things. Oh, don't go to that restaurant. This one is better. Or will tell you where you can get a hardware store and certain big supplies. Gives you all kinds of information.
Right.
Not to mention the activities going on, which you may know about because you don't get the local newspaper yet. So there are all kinds of positive things like that. It doesn't have to be removing negatives. It has to do with making people happier. Mm-hmm. And if you remember that, whether it's serving meals to the homeless at the food bank, whether it's simply reading a book to kids, whether it's playing board games with them or watching them play with their toys, that has such a beautiful concept. People will never forget that. And if it's that meaningful to them, even when they grow up, they'll remember that day. Just like I remember the one day where my mother alone took me and we went to the Statue of Liberty for the whole day, even had lunch out, and I remember every bit of that one whole day with her because it was special. She wasn't dividing her time with my siblings, with her husband, with her work. We were just alone together. And even at my age, I remember that day in its entirety. So saying that, what you may do volunteering for a day, if you give it your all and enjoy the people you talk to, don't underestimate how long they'll remember the joy they had with you as a volunteer. Also, there are some other places. There's United Against Poverty. That is good if you're handing out Christmas presents or something, but I have nothing against them because money's important. But United Against Poverty, most people are looking for donations, making phone calls, and that may not be as much of an interest to you because you don't get the satisfaction, or you get very little satisfaction from the one or two people who'll give you a big donation and everyone else will hang up on you. That's just the way it goes. And I would actually encourage you to actually get involved, be a listener, a talker, an interested party, in someone else who is lonely. For the holidays, that is the most important thing. The rest of the year, you can make donations, raise money, and I'm not against raising money at Christmas time. Don't take this wrong. But I'm not making it a priority. The priority to me is human relationships and give each other a moment of joy. The Salvation Army we all know about, that is 772-978-0265. And I want to emphasize with that, even if you don't have a car, the Salvation Army and other organizations prefer 2 people go in their car, not just one person, for safety reasons and to make, and if there's a loose dog or animal in the house, you can look out for each other. So you can volunteer to organizations like that as a second person, even without a car. If you visit, drop off meals, take people to the store, give them a little joy for the holiday season so they're not alone for that day. That is what I'm after with volunteering. It is so important, and we should all do it. And even if part of our family is home watching the football games, and there's nothing wrong with them, that's an American tradition. But if you're not in football games and you'll be back in 2 or 3 hours, go and volunteer yourself and make someone else happy. That is what I am encouraging. Also, you have Operation Hope, which is 571-0003. I'll repeat that, 772-571-0003. And that is for usually elderly people who are home alone and in despair. But there can be a kid home alone, and the parent are somewhere gone drunk and haven't gotten home yet. Those kids at home feel very lonely and scared. And that's what Operation Hope tries to relieve. The phone number I didn't give you for Salvation Army is 772-978-0265. And those are the main ones, but there are orphanages, there are shelters for the homeless in your community almost anywhere. So I'd love to see you volunteer there. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back before you know it with some more information. I want to introduce you to our main sponsor, Highland Plaza, located on US 1 on the east side of the Highland Drive traffic light. We even have our own left-hand turn lane. One of the places in there, the first one on the north side, is Easy Stop, and you will be surprised what competitive and beautiful prices they have. You should give it a shot. Also, Tony's Hairstyling Salon is ideal for the entire family at all ages. He and his wife have run a salon there for years with a huge following. Also, we want to tell you about La Taberna Restaurant. It has the freshest Mexican food in town and a well-experienced chef. You will be most surprised not only by the food, but the reasonable prices. Also, I want to tell you about the nail salon. It's Luxury Nails. Let me tell you, they do everything, both for walk-in clients and appointments. Appointments are really appreciated, but they treat all clients professionally. Now, I want to repeat to you, this is located on US 1, just east of Highland Drive at the traffic light. It's a beautiful yellow building with a maroon awning. We look forward to seeing you there. Come on over.
Right now at Sunshine Furniture, it's holiday sale time, so you can save up to 50% on selected groups of indoor and outdoor furniture from Lloyd Flanders, Telescope, Windward, Capri, Seawinds, Universal, and lots more. Sofas, love seats, dining sets, patio groups, occasional chairs, bedroom sets, all on sale just in time to make Santa say ho, ho, ho. Also, all pictures, lamps, and accessories are half off. And don't forget to visit our outlet and sales store just across the street from our main location for lots of great holiday bargains. Sunshine Furniture, 1295 US 1 in the Publix Plaza next to Planet Fitness in Vero Beach. Visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com.
Sunshine Furniture brightens up your day. Sunshine Furniture, the best in every way. Ooh, have a sunshine day. Sunshine Furniture.
Sure, they were born in Jersey, but they were made in America. An attitude and a sound like no other. Jersey Boys is the international musical phenomenon that takes you behind the scenes and behind the music of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons.
I'll go on living and keep on forgiving because
Who knew four guys from New Jersey would turn the world upside down with a unique sound that nobody had heard, but radio couldn't get enough of? Over 10 years on Broadway, winner of 4 Tony Awards with worldwide performances. It's the award-winning musical of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, featuring over 15 of their certified gold songs, and you know them all. Jersey Boys opens January 2nd at Vero's magnificent Riverside Theater, but you don't have to wait. Get your best tickets now at the box office or riversidetheater.com.
We are back with Martha and the Martha Matters.
Well, hi there, and welcome back. I just want to summarize, even for those who just moved to town and don't have any friends and would like to get started, there are plenty of places you can volunteer. Warehouses, food bank distribution centers, and among the people that you will be working with, you can meet a lot of friends, potential friends, and certainly associates, as well as helping the people in need who are at the food distribution center. You can have social enterprises, even office volunteers. There may be so many mail-outs to get out, so many, unfortunately, bills to get out, that they may need volunteers to close all the envelopes and bring them to the post office, even Christmas cards. And try to associate with the people you are working with or volunteering for. They can give you a lot of advice about the community if you just moved there, including recommendations for certain butchers, for certain bakeries, you name it. Just about anything, even physicians. And like any community, we have some that are outstanding, some that are very good, some that are mediocre, and fortunately, we don't have too many that you want to totally stay away from either. So please, we want you to volunteer, even if only for an hour or two or more if you have the time, and make this holiday season a rewarding and joyful time for all of you. Have a great one.